Hi, Albert, and everyone who recently joined, good morning. Just have your sound muted, video on, and then please log onto Google Classroom to start the do now. Hopefully, for everyone who completed an exit ticket yesterday, it wasn't too long. It was like 4 power rule problems and then 2 multiple choice. But I think that'll generally be a good gauge for how in-depth exit tickets will be from now on. And then also for the exit ticket, I hope if you did it after school, you notice that there was like a YouTube video posted next to it. So that's kind of where I run through the exit ticket too, in case you want to go through that, because I will start grading them for accuracy now. And then the wake-up question today is, what is your favorite meal of the day and why? Does anyone here, are you guys really into food? Is anyone here really into food? Okay, gotcha. I have some friends who are super into food. Just I'm really skinny, and I feel like I never think about food, which is really weird. But some of my friends tell me about how they're constantly thinking about what they want to eat next, and stuff they have cravings that they want to, and then I don't know. Yeah, Kayla, you said who wouldn't be? I don't feel like I'm that into food. The only time I'm into food is when I'm actually hungry. But I'm not the type to eat when I'm not hungry. I never eat out of boredom or anything, and I think some people eat out of boredom, stuff like that. Hi Jenny, hi Danielle. Risha, you said you like lunch. DJ, you said you like dinner because Caribbean food slaps. Okay, makes sense. Emily, you're into culinary arts. Gotcha. Are you guys generally into fancy foods, or you just like eating? Okay, you like hot dogs. Okay, that's very fancy. Okay, I actually really like hot dogs too. Kayla, you said you like seafood. Seafood is actually the one type of food I don't really like. But I like sushi, so I guess that counts. But I don't like any seafood that smells fishy or anything like that. Leticia, you said that you eat for fun. Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. I feel like a lot of people do enjoy food just for the sake of food. But Shanice, you said just eating almost anything. Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so I'm just going to show the do now for one more minute in case anyone isn't able to access it via Google Classroom. But I would like some submission. And if you're not going to get a picture in on time, I think turning in pictures is kind of more difficult, but I do expect people to be writing down the problem and working on it. So that is an expectation that I have. So during this time, I can't have you guys just sitting here. Today you said you like Nigerian food. Awesome. Yeah, is there any specific foods from different cultures that you guys like the most? Or I'm really not too familiar with, and I know Chinese food, but honestly, I'm not well versed in other cultures. But thanks Clarissa and Taver for submitting your do nows. Emily, you like Jamaican food. They say you like curry and bora pumpkin. Gotcha. Ashley said that Jenny makes the best jerk chicken. Clarissa, you said oxtail and roti. Gotcha. Before, I was going to read that, and then I read a bit more, and I realized that you are trolling me. So that's 4 days in a row, but I'm not gonna read it out this time. Today you said rice and stew. So were you like Roblox, Tingle, and Klingon? Wait, I forgot what Klingons are from, but anyway, okay.
It's from Star Trek.
Okay, gotcha. My dad's really into Star Trek, so that's probably where I've heard it from. Okay, anyway, we're gonna get started on the do now. So hopefully everyone was able to start working on it. I'm gonna just really quickly call on someone to kind of take us through what they thought was the right answer for the do now. So Tavera, would you be able to just come off of mute and take us through your process for the do now?
Okay, since it said perpendicular to the line, I wrote opposite reciprocal. So the opposite reciprocal of 1/2 is -2x, well, -2. And then I plugged in 2 into, since it said to pass through that point. So I put -2 times 2 plus b equals 2. Then I got -4 plus b equals 2, then b equals 6. So the equation is y equals -2x plus 6.
Gotcha. Yeah. So thanks for taking me through the entire problem. You were definitely on point with that. Sorry, okay. So I'd like for everyone to, if they don't have this problem written down, just please have it written down. But today we're going to be dealing with point slope form for a line. So this is a general equation form for a line, and hopefully everyone remembers it because it was kind of necessary to for solving this problem. So point slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Right, so y1 and x1, that makes up a point, and m, so this is a point, and m is a slope. Right, so from this, you can probably tell that there's 2 important things we need in order to figure out this problem. In order to create a line that's perpendicular, we need 2 things. We need a slope, and we also need a point. Right? These are the key things we want, a slope and a point. So key things we want. And you can probably, it's kind of, you can tell in the name because the name is of the equation is point slope form, right? So it makes sense that we need a slope and a point. So since we want to find the equation of a line that is perpendicular to this line, right? Tavera brought up the great point that we need to find the negative reciprocal. And hopefully you guys all remember that. But if we want to find a slope that's perpendicular, we're going to use the negative reciprocal. Sorry, I cannot spell reciprocal. Reciprocal of the slope of the first line. So the negative reciprocal of 1/2 is going to be equal to, really quickly, I'm going to cold call Kimura. Would you be able to come off mute and tell me what the negative reciprocal of 1/2 is going to be? Okay, no worries. You said your mic is not working. How about Kayla?
Hello.
Hi. Oh, sorry. I said Kayla, but Kaylin, could you help me out too, actually?
Oh, is it gonna be -2?
Gotcha. Yep, exactly. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to flip, right, 1/2. So it's going to be 2/1, right? That's what the reciprocal is. And then we're going to attach a negative sign to it. We're just going to switch the signs. So it's going to be, our slope is going to be m is equal to -2. So we have the first part that we need for point slope form. Next, we need an actual point. Ashley, would you be able to come off of mute and tell us where we would get a point from for this line? Okay, thanks for letting me know. How about Steve? Steve, could you tell me what a point would be? Okay, how about Risha? Could you tell me where a point would be, where I could get a point from the problem? Yeah, Ruchal, you want to come off mute and just tell us?
In the problem, it tells you there's a point at 2, x equals
Yep, exactly. So we're told that the line passes through 2, 2, right? So all we need for a line, right, is a point that is on the line and then a slope. Remember, that's why it's called point slope form. So they actually luckily give us a point. Sometimes we're not that lucky, but they give us a point in this case. So it's 2, 2. So that's our point. Now we're going to put this into point slope form. I'm going to rewrite it over here. Right, so this is our equation. So it's going to be y minus y1, which in this case, this is our point is x1 and y1, right? That's what our point gives us. It gives us x1 and y1, which are basically, it's an example point that's on the line. So in this case, y1 is going to be 2, and that's equal to m, which is the slope. So it's -2 times x minus x1, in this case is also 2. And then I believe Tver solved it into a y equals mx plus b form. But for today's lesson, we don't have to do that actually. Point slope form is a totally valid way to write an equation for a line, so we can just leave it like this. So this is an equation for the line that is perpendicular to y equals 1/2 x plus 2 and passes through 2, 2. So I'm just going to draw this really quick. So we have an equation, y equals 1/2 x plus 2, right? I'm going to draw the original graph first. So since it's plus 2, we know it crosses the y-intercept at 2. And then we know its slope is 1/2. So the rise over run is 1/2. So it rises 1 and then it goes over 2, right? Up 1 over 2. So up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. So this is going to be the equation for our original graph. And I would like everyone to have this in their notes. If you can't draw like the exact XY graph, that's fine. But I would like everyone to have this in their notes, just roughly. And then we're told that the perpendicular line passes through the point 2, 2. So we're going to mark down 2, 2 right here, because we already know it's going to pass through this, right? The line is going to go through this no matter what. And it has a perpendicular slope, so we know it's going to be 90 degrees to this line, right? And we also know that its slope is -2. So that kind of tells us that it's going to be perpendicular. So let's say it's -2, right? It goes over 1, down 2, over 1, down 2, over 1, down 2. Right? If we draw this line, we can see that the line we calculated for over here, it does in fact give us a perpendicular line, right? Like you can see how this is 90 degrees. So we did ultimately succeed in drawing a perpendicular line that passes through the point 2, 2. So I'm going to give everyone a couple seconds just to catch up. Remember, the key thing I would say for finding a perpendicular, also, you will also see the word normal. A normal line means perpendicular. It means it like intersects it at 90 degrees. Now, you asked me to explain the graph one more time. Sure, is there a line you want me to explain one more time? Like, do you understand the original y equals 1/2 x plus 2?
So the original line is the line that you're given in the equation.
Sorry, wait. It's kind of hard for me to hear you. Would you be able to chat what you said to me? Okay, so the second line. The first line is the line we got from the problem, right? The second line here, we're kind of just, we want to figure out what it looks like, right? And we can use this equation, we can solve for it, right? But we can also just draw this line without looking at the equation, because we're told that it passes through 2, 2, right? We're told that right here. And we're also told that it's perpendicular to this line, right? So we know it cuts through at 90 degrees. So we can kind of just roughly draw it, right? It cuts through at 90 degrees. But we can also kind of confirm that we're on the right track, because let's look at the slope. The slope is, it goes over 1 and it goes down 2, right? Over 1, down 2. So the slope is -2. And if we look at our line, we see that our m was -2 as well. So that kind of confirms that we are drawing the right line and that our equation is correct. Okay, so I'm going to move on now. The second part, we are just going to do a quick few derivatives. So I would like everyone to attempt this first problem. So given f of x, find f prime of 2. So we have f of x is equal to 16x minus 1. So we want to find f prime of x, what this equation is equal to, then plug in 2. So I'm going to give everyone a minute or two to solve this, and then I would like for people to submit their answers in the chat. And I would like some participation by people who don't normally submit their answers. So if you don't normally submit your answers, please try to solve this problem and then submit what you get into the chat. So we want to find f prime of 2. All right, thanks for letting me know, Kalia. If people need a little bit of help, remember that this is currently in power rule form, right? So it's in the form that we want for power rule. Awesome, thanks, Albert. So for us to derive it, we can just do power rule, and then we're going to have to plug in 2. Awesome, thank you, Ruchal. Awesome, thank you, Kalia. Yeah, to there. So we're going to look for the derivative, right? Because it's asking us, it's telling us that f of x is equal to 16x to the negative first. But now we want to find f prime, which is the derivative of 2. Awesome, thanks to there. Naima, you're extremely close. You're on the right track. So Naima, would you be able to come off mute and kind of tell us how you found the derivative?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So I took the -1 exponent, and then I just put it in front of the 16, and then multiplied it, and then it was.
And what did you get for that?
16.
And what did you get for that?
1 times -16.
Yeah, so it's -1 times 16, right? We're doing power rule, so we bring the exponent down, we multiply it by 16, right? And then how about the exponent? What did you do with the exponent, the -1?
I subtracted 1 and then got -2.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So you take -1 and then you subtract 1. So we're going to get -16 x to the -2. And then, Kalia, would you be able to come off of mute and kind of show like how you did f prime of 2, how you plugged it in?
So basically, I just plugged in 2 for x in the derivative. So I got
Mhm.
negative 16. I did negative 16 over x squared. And then I
Gotcha.
did
And
negative 16 times, well, I did 2 squared and got negative 16 over 4 and got negative 4.
gotcha. So would you be able to explain to me how you got negative 16 over x squared instead of, because here we have x to the negative 2. So how'd you get x squared?
Because I know that since there's a negative exponent, you would have to move it to the bottom of the,
Gotcha.
you have to put it in the denominator.
Yep, that's exactly right. So we take negative 16x to the negative 2, right? And then we can turn it to negative 16 over x squared. Remember, that's what we learned yesterday with the negative exponent rule. If you have a negative exponent, you can just kind of flip it over the fraction from top to bottom or bottom to top, right? And then it switches signs. So in this case, we flip it and it turns positive, right? So then we plug in f prime of 2. That's negative 16 over 2 squared. So that's going to be equal to negative 16 over 4. And that's going to be equal to negative 4. So our answer here is negative 4. So I got a lot of people who got, I got a couple negative 4s and a lot of people who got 4 exactly. So people are definitely on the right track. I think what people probably forgot is when you take negative 1 down and you multiply by 16, it's not just 16, it's negative 16. So you have to remember to actually do the multiplication. So I would say the key idea also to take away here is not just that we're doing a derivative, right? We're also remembering that derivatives are equal to slopes. Remember slope of the tangent line, all that stuff. So here what we're really also finding is the slope at x equals 2, right? Because we're inputting 2 here. That's an x value. So that's going to be useful for us because now we are going to start finding tangent and normal lines. Okay, so I'm going to really quickly do this first problem, but have you guys kind of walk me through it. So remember that so the question is f of x is equal to negative 3x to the 4th. Find the equation of the tangent line at x equals negative 2. Okay, so we have to find the equation of a line, right? So we're still going to use point slope form. Albert, can I get you to come off of mute and tell me, if we're using point slope form, what are the 2 key things that we're going to need?
You're gonna need like the slope, and you're gonna need a point like that it passes through.
Yep, exactly right. So again, it's just in the name, right? Point slope form, which I'll rewrite it out. It's y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Right, so it's going to be extremely useful for you to memorize this, by the way. But it shouldn't be too hard. Y minus y1, x minus x1, and then you just multiply the m by x minus x1. But point slope form, we're going to need 2 things, just like Albert said. We need a slope, and then we need a point. So you'll notice that in our first problem, right, they had the equation of a line, right? So we could have just taken the negative reciprocal to find like the perpendicular line and all that. But in this case, we're finding a tangent line. And this isn't a line, this is an actual function. So how would I find the slope of this tangent line at x equals 2? DJ, would you be able to come off of mute and tell me how I'd find a slope?
Um,
So we're trying to find the slope of a tangent line. And that's an idea we've dealt with a lot because it deals with something that we talk about a lot in Calc A.
find derivative.
Yep, exactly right. So to find the slope of this, right, at x equals 2, like I'll just negative 3x to the fourth, like I'll just kind of draw some random function, right? Let's say it looks like this, and it's asking us to find the equation of the tangent line at x equals negative 2, right? Let's say it's over here. So I need the slope of the I need to find the slope of this line. And again, that's just the derivative, right? So we're going to find the derivative. So f prime of x. And I'm going to quickly just do power rule. So it's going to be 4 times negative 3, right? So that's going to be negative 12. And then we're going to subtract 1 from the exponent. So it's going to be 4 minus 1 is going to be 3, right? So now I have the slope, or I have the derivative. And to find the slope, I'm going to plug in negative 2 into x, right? So it's going to be f prime of negative 2 is equal to negative 12 times negative 2 cubed. And this is actually kind of a lot of math, but it's negative 12 times negative 8 is equal to 96. So actually, so our n is going to be equal to 96, right? Because this is this, we found the derivative, and remember that is the slope of the tangent line, right? So our slope is going to be 96. So if you just want to imagine it, the line is probably going to be like almost straight up. It's going to be extremely positive. Okay, so next we need to find a point. And the issue here is, again, we kind of have to take an extra step because we're not so lucky. We're not so lucky in the sense that they didn't give us a point. They gave us x equals negative 2, right? But we don't know what y is, right? We don't have a y point. Marche, would you quickly come off of mute and kind of suggest like how we could find a point that we could use?
Find a point. We give the substitute, probably.
Sorry, can you say that again?
You could probably like substitute.
Yeah, gotcha. That's exactly right. So, so we're again trying to find the tangent line to the slope at x equals negative 2, right? So if we want to find this point, we can actually just plug negative 2 back into this equation. So we're going to get f of negative 2 is equal to negative 3 times negative 2 to the fourth. And that's going to be equal to negative 3 times positive 16. You don't have to do all the math here. I'm just kind of doing it, but it's equal to negative 48. So our point is going to be x is equal to negative 2 and y is equal to negative 48. And we got y just by plugging it into the original equation because that's the point. We know that this point exists on the line, right? On the tangent line, because that's the point we're referencing in the first place. So this point has to exist on the tangent line. So our point is going to be negative 2, comma negative 48. So then we're going to use point slope form. y minus y1. y1 is going to be negative 48, so y minus negative 48 is equal to m times x minus x1, and x1 is going to be negative 2. So that's just going to be y plus 48 is equal to m times x. Oh, sorry, I should have substituted in m. M we got as 96, right? So it's going to be 96 times x plus 2. So this is going to be our final answer. I'm going to give everyone a few seconds to catch up. Okay, I would like for everyone now to attempt this fourth problem. So we're going to find the equation of the line normal to y equals negative 4x plus 2x at x equals 2. Actually, I'm gonna go through it kind of step by step, but have people solve out each step. So again, we're doing point slope form, right? So we're gonna need a slope. We're gonna need a point. So I'm gonna give everyone like 2 minutes right now to figure out what the slope of a line, normal or perpendicular, to y equals negative x plus 2x to the fourth, negative x to the fourth plus 2x at x equals 2. Give everyone 2 minutes to try to figure out what the slope is. And then if you figure out the slope, just send your answer in the chat, please. So what might be confusing about this problem is, right, we're not finding the tangent line. So when we get our derivative, we need to take an extra step to find the normal line, or the perpendicular line. Albert, thank you. Definitely on the, I think you're definitely on the right track with that, Albert. So, but remember again that we are not finding the tangent line, we're finding the normal line. So once you get your answer for that, you have to take one more step to get the slope for the normal line. I'm gonna give like 30 more seconds and then Brianna, that's a good question. So I would say just try to think of what we did in, I believe it was the do now. We found the slope, right? But then to turn it into a perpendicular slope, there's an extra step we took. So we only have to do the derivative once. Naima, I think you're definitely on the right track with that. Yeah. So again, to answer Brianna's point, we only have to do one derivative. But once we find that derivative, we just take an extra step. So Albert, can I get you to come off of mute and just take us through what you did?
First, I did the power rule, and then that gave me -4 times x to the third power. And then I just plugged in 2 after that, and I got -32.
Awesome. Oh wait, I think I did this wrong in my my example, but okay, so -4x cubed, and then how about this 2x term? What would you do for power rule for here?
I don't know. Do you get rid of the x? Like,
Yeah, exactly. So you would get rid of the x, so just be +2. If you want to think about it in power rule terms, right, it's 2x to the first power, right? And you multiply 1 by 2, so you can get 2. And then you subtract 1 from here, right? So it's going to be x1 minus 1, which is equal to 2x to the 0, which is equal to 2. But that's kind of overly complicated. Usually when it's like 3x, -4x, you just cancel out the x when you do power rule. So hopefully that makes sense. But you're going to get -4x cubed plus 2. So then, Albert, you said you plugged in 2 after, right? So that's exactly right. Plug in 2. And I believe it's going to be negative. So it's going to be -4 times 8 plus 2 is equal to -32 plus 2 is equal to -30. Awesome. Kalia, would you be able to come off of mute and tell me, this is a slope, right? But is this the slope for the tangent line or the normal line?
That's the slope for the tangent line.
Gotcha. So if I want to turn that into the slope for the normal line, how would I do that?
You would use the reciprocal, which would be 1/30.
Yep, exactly. So we're going to do the negative reciprocal again, right? So n, our slope for the normal line, is just going to be, here, I'll draw this out actually. So it's going to be -30 over 1. It's going to turn into 1/30, right? Because we flipped both sides, that's what the reciprocal means. And then you switch it from a negative to a positive. So our slope is going to be 1/30 for the normal line. So all we did was literally we found the slope of the tangent line, right? Slope of tangent line. And then we did one little like extra step to get the slope of the normal line. Naima, would you be able to come off of mute and kind of talk about what you did to find a point?
I didn't get that far, but I would guess that you would plug in 2 into an equation.
Okay. Okay, the audio is kind of rough on that, but hopefully I got your general gist, which is we're going to plug 2 back into the equation, right? So we already have half of a point, right? We have x equals 2, but we just need to find y. So we just plug in 2 back into the original equation to find y. So y is equal to -2 to the 4th plus 2 times 2, which is going to be equal to, I'm just going to write it all out. -16 plus 4 is equal to -12. So y is equal to -12, x is equal to 2. So our point is going to be 2, -12. Right, that's our x1 and y1. So now our equation which uses point slope form, which is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Brianna, would you be able to come off of mute and kind of plug in these points so we can get our final equation?
Yeah, sure. Oh, my bad. Hold on.
You could just plug it in like right here, or are you writing it out? All right, just for the sake of time, I'm actually just going to plug it in for us. So it's going to be y minus y1, right? So it's y minus negative 12 is equal to m, which we calculated as 1 over 30, times x minus x1, which is x minus 2. So it's just going to be 1 plus 12 is equal to 1 times 30 times x minus 2. So that is going to be our final answer for the equation for a line that is perpendicular or normal to the equation. And so that's it for today. There's going to be an exit ticket, so make sure you do that. I'm going to try to post the YouTube like exit ticket walkthrough and tutorial after class at some point. So look out for that and turn in your class notes, etc. And I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks everyone. Have a good rest of your day. See you, Kayla. Bye, Clarissa.